Europeos. So this match
Barcelona
will be
v Barcelona.
Barcelona against Barcelona. Bienvenidos catalanes. Kuwait with Barcelona against Czech Republic with Barcelona.
But it'll be interesting now because we talked about the physicality that we've seen, or you see from the backline of Barcelona. But now it's going to go against the attacking line that we've constantly spoken about of Torres, Depay, and Lewandowski.
And as you said before, it's nice when you have the same team because it's all about the player. There's no excuse.
Absolutely. It goes down to team selection. It goes down to game plan choice. As you can see here, four at the back, it's Araujo, I think Marcos Alonso, which again, it's a bit of a strange one from me. He's not exactly the most quick player on the field, but as we also saw there, Ousmane Dembele making his first appearance in this tournament. So again, we're seeing these players come with different ideas and different team strategies. You'll see there Sergio Roberto on the right-hand side. You can see there a four-man midfield. And again, it's a two-man strike force of Ferran Torres and Robert Lewandowski.
4-3-1-2.
So you've got a two up front and you've got a three up front. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these two styles mesh. And you can see, interestingly, you've got that one random, as it looks out, winger. I'll just put you in the know, folks. That's deliberate. It's not an accident that somebody's accidentally put Ousmane Dembele all the way out to the wing. It's just to make sure that you have players at your disposal in very good positions on the field.
So that's the analysis from WESA. We see Czech Republic on the right, Kuwait on the left. I want to say hi to Mana Madana in the YouTube chat, to Dry, to Norecka, to Toko Bezar, to Beto. Thank you very much all for being there. Hi Saitama, hi Arif, hi Bagus. Thank you very much. This is amazing to have so much people chatting there. Let us know on the chat, who do you think is going to win this?
Yeah, and interestingly, you talk about play styles,
yes,
things. What used to be the major thing was if you were a D-pad player or you were an analog player.
Exactly.
And that used to be a big thing. It used to be.
They changed it again.
Yeah. So, but that will tell you about some of the things we saw in potentially in the previous game,
yes,
which is you've got players here that are playing on D-pad. So again, for those of you that are probably wondering, well, what makes the difference? It kind of restricts your movement a little bit, yes, with how the game has now been made. Obviously, back in the days of, as you said, Winning 11 and Pro Evolution Soccer, it was a bit more restrictive in terms of your movement, whereas with an analog stick now, you have 360-degree movement,
exactly,
and it's far easier to move yourself around.
Exactly. And I know that back then you have the excuse of the cable.
Yeah.
That's how old I am.
You would have, as you can see there might be an excuse here for an early goal, and it's there.
I'm listening some noise.
I was going to say, we're not getting the atmosphere surrounded by the game, but it's Ferran Torres that's stolen onto a game there. You can see Ferran Torres is the guy that has given. It's Kuwait with the early lead.
Kuwait goes ahead on the marker.
Yeah, you'll see the goal back here again. Routine kind of gameplay, just cleared. Tried to be cleared by Marcos Alonso on his weak foot, ricocheted into the back of the net.
Amazing. The first opportunity, the game has just started, and they won.
It's very early on. It's what, 4 minutes in?
That's it. Just 4 minutes.
About 4 minutes. As you can see, Ferran Torres trying to sort out his putting game as his celebration there, but again, very early lead.
Let's see if they make some modifications. Okay, now we're coming here again. Let's see what they're doing. Players changing their conditions for this game.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, for such a long pause, again, it might just be a case that they're just double checking things and making sure that everything is connected up correctly, or they might even potentially be checking. I think I've just had a look around there. I think we're checking on monitor settings and things like
I
that,
will
just
get
to make sure.
the chance to greet more people on the chat.
Indeed.
Ade Fitra, thank you for being there. Lukman Hakim, thank you very much. Perfectly. Now we have the ambience of the game. We have the spirit of this game.
It just doesn't hit the same when you can't hear the crowd.
No, of course.
It's a crazy thing to have. But speaking of crazy things, you see a ball going into the box. It's a corner ball for the Czech Republic.
The Czech Republic is with the champagne shirt.
Indeed. As the ball goes flying into the box, it's cleared away. And Sergio Busquets to Ferran Torres. Torres into Pedri. Pedri looking forward again, just can't get past that last man. And instead, the ball will fall kindly into the path of the Czech Republic. Here's Kessie to Pedri.
So right now, for the predictions, is WESA the one?
At the moment, it may, but it could still change. It's only one goal so far, and as we've seen from previous games, there's a lot of goals that can be scored in one game.
True. That's true. One goal is not advantage in this game.
No, one goal is probably 1-0 is probably the worst result that you want.
No,
at least this early on.
No, it's the worst result is if you're 0-1, not 1-0.
No, I mean as in via risk.
I know. But you know, every time they say no, 1-0 is a bad result. 2-0, no.
Well, certainly from a risk standpoint, you don't want to then, you don't want to have that confidence going into the game. As Torres goes for the header, Steiger makes the save.
I will take the 1-0. You can keep the 0-15.
Well, certainly from a next goal standpoint, you're going to have the confidence of taking the lead, which obviously we see a lot from players. But you can see here just controlling or trying to start to control the ball. But again, Czech Republic with some good pressure. Is Kessie. Kessie regains the ball. Pedri into De Jong. Back to Marcus Logan.
Is trying to...
Just trying to get something going. And again, it was that early cross of Marcos Alonso. That kind of makes sense now as to why he's playing. Because, again, left-footed, left-back, being able to whip the ball in with an early cross. He may get some dividends at the end of it. But at the moment, not a lot. Again, 20 minutes in-game gone. It's not really too much to speak about in terms of big chances apart from the goal. And even that came from a mistake.
The more matches that you see, the more that you understand the game and that you understand why the players make the things they make.
Absolutely, absolutely. The more you will watch characters and players of these qualities, and the more you get to understand the personal sides of things, and again, the intangible qualities that these players possess, the more you'll understand why, I'm probably sat here and they're sat there with a controller. Great ball into the box, and it's just wide of the post. You can see at the moment it appears to be the Czech Republic who were just trying to get back in the ascendancy here.
We're having a great crowd over YouTube. Big shout for all of them.
Hopefully they can be rewarded with a Czech Republic goal. Driven cross into the box. Oh, it's off the bar. What a big chance that was. Ball still not cleared. It's Kessie, and he can't get it under his belt.
That was amazing.
Big opportunity there for the Czech Republic, but instead the ball comes the other way. It wouldn't be the first time today that we've seen woodwork be hit and then the opponent then score. Here's Frankie de Jong. On to Koundé. Back to Torres. Back to Koundé. You see ball being driven. Marcos Alonso to whip that ball in. Ball is still there to be won. It's Busquets who challenges up against it. You can see a defensive line push from Kuwait just to try and create a bit of pressure going forward and potentially catch an offside. Here's De Jong. It's through to Ferran Torres. Big manual save in. Although goalkeeper has nearly caused an error.
Oh la la. It almost made an own goal.
That is almost an own goal. But Kuwait live to fight another day. They are still 1-0 up, but pressure is mounting here as the header comes in. It was cleared away, but there's only one man up, and as you can see at the radar at the bottom of your screen, it's that Ousmane Dembele that's on the right wing, but it won't matter anyway at the moment as Marcos Alonso goes back in, looking for the cross. It was deflected.
You know, the marker says that Kuwait is winning, but the last 30 virtual minutes, everything was in the hands of the Czech Republic.
Yes, it's what we call against the run of play. And that's what it certainly feels like. It feels like, oh, well, there's a goal that's gone in, but it was a mistake. That's all that's caused it. And the Czech Republic seem to be all back under pressure, all back on top of things. They just haven't got a goal to show for it yet. And I say yet because, again, looking at the pressure and looking at how well the Czech Republic are playing at the moment, you back them to score next. And here's Marcos Alonso onto Sergio Busquets, who can't find a ball through. Instead, it's Pedri on the attack. Potentially a man down the bottom of your screen. If you can see him, he's out of shot at the moment. It wasn't Lewandowski. It's that Dembele that's loitering on that wing. And again, I would say to yourselves, if you've got a player to keep an eye on, it's Kuwait's Dembele. Keep an eye on where his positioning is, because at all times he will provide an option. But all of a sudden, it's broken out into a really tight game, which is what we kind of want.
Nothing to do with the other games.
Yeah, compared to what we've seen, this is a tactical. It's a tactical game,
and it's a balanced game.
Oh, absolutely.
The level of the two players is really comparable.
Absolutely. I think the balance between two players, obviously we're seeing a balance between lineups as well, because they're both Barcelona. We're seeing a balance of everything. So again, like I said, if you look back at the highlights, which I'm sure we will after the second game is concluded, the goal was just a nothing goal. Yes. If you conceded it at home, you would be livid. You'd be so angry.
Yes.
Because you just look at it.
It was a mistake.
It's a mistake. It's playing it across the back. Well, it's not even a mistake. He's tried to clear the ball. Yes. It's been charged down. It's ricocheted into the path of I think it was Torres.
And now it's the Czech Republic that takes the intent of the game.
Absolutely.
It goes.
Big shot. Big shot in, but ter Stegen was equal to it. Here's Pedri. And as we said, it's all been the Czech Republic at the moment. It's Frankie de Jong out wide to Ousmane Dembele. Again, a player just to keep your eye on, folks. He will always be there to be an option. It's Frank Kesse. It's Torres looking for Lewandowski. He eventually gets the ball there to him. It's Torres, de Jong. He's got players at the back post if he can find them. Instead, it's cleared away.
He's coming and coming, trying and trying.
Driven ball into the box. PK with a header clear. Sergio Busquets, can pressure be applied? It can't, and there could be a very quick counter on here if the cards are played correctly. Here's Pedri. Pedri still there to recover it. Still finds it to Ferran Torres. Torres to de Jong. Pedri. De Jong looking for that one more pass. It's Robert Lewandowski. Can't take it into his grasp.
Very balanced game.
It is very, very balanced indeed. And now you can feel a little bit of Kuwait just getting the right side of things now. Frankie de Jong back to Ousmane Dembele. Nice little double touch. Tries there, but there wasn't really a man to face up there. So I'm wondering why that was done. It's almost a nothing skill move at that point. There's nobody there to really affect. And as a result, it's a poor giveaway. And Marcos Alonso looking to lead the charge. It's Frankie de Jong. Back to Alonso. Back to de Jong. Torres. Pedri. Pedri looking to be hassled, and he gets the ball out to Sergio Roberto. It's Kesse, Sergio Roberto, Lewandowski. Oh, it's a lovely lofted pass. It's just not quite there. And again, that attacking mindset is on here. It's Dembele. Great little skill there. Takes it through to de Jong. Onto Lewandowski. Tries to take the shot. Good defending. This is one of the more tight games, but I don't mind having a tight affair here.
And it's a physical game.
Absolutely.
It's a tactical game.
Absolutely.
There's no place for fantasy, no place for luxury. They do play by play, punch by punch.
Not that I like to quote my dad too many times, but it's either a want or a need. And if you need to do it, you just get on and do it. And that's exactly what's happening here. Both teams are trying to do their absolute best to do everything they need to do to get across the line here. And bear in mind, guys, at home who are watching this and those who are in the surrounding area to us, this is only game one.
Yes.
We've still got another 90 minutes here, and there's still time left on this clock for something extraordinary to happen. Ball goes in towards Ferran Torres. It's PK that leads it away, and again, it's almost a little bit of a mistake, but Araujo does recover it. And the ball looks to be recovered. It's Kesse to PK. PK to Sergio Roberto. Ball given away again, but just managed to win it back. Ball is scooped forward in hope rather than expectation.
So after the goal, all the rest of the match was in the hands of the Czech Republic.
I think they've had a lot of chances in the early going. You can just see there are moments where Kuwait are trying to just make sure that they get back into this. And by get back into it, I mean just as a game style. As De Jong goes to drill one into the box. It's fallen out to Sergio Busquets.
I think that Kuwait has a great defense, and he knows it. And so he's not caring so much about attacking. He made that goal. He's defending. He knows he will have more space and more opportunities.
He may do, but if the Czech Republic can find the way out of this Barcelona prison that they've been locked in going forward, it's going to be very very interesting indeed. But there's only 7 in-game minutes left on the clock. There's not been any substitutions from my understanding.
No.
So again, you're looking at it from a standpoint, you'll look there as well, the almost mirror image or the opposites of the attack and defensive attacking biases down at the bottom of your screen.
And that's why this match is so fast.
Yeah, Czech Republic are trying to push the issue. Meanwhile, Kuwait are trying to steal it. Oh, but it's been stolen. You talk about steals. The Czech Republic rightly have their equaliser here.
And they deserve it because
Absolutely.
They tried. They went ahead. They keep pushing. They keep trying. They didn't give themselves out. It's even if the time was running out, even if it was taking risk, because in front you have a player that knows how to play, so it's taking risk every time.
Absolutely.
The equalizer come, and let's see what happens now.
Absolutely. I mean, it just goes to show you don't give up.
No,
Under any
course.
circumstances, you don't give up. You don't stop trying. You don't stop trying to do the things that you are good at. And again, to talk about the goal in and of itself, it was a wonderfully floated ball into the back post. And again, Lewandowski, we talked about his physical presence. Again, tells at the vital stages. We see tactical switches left, right, and centre on your screen. You see almost a 4-player substitution. Don't forget, of course, 5 subs are in effect. In terms of the substitutes bench, you can bring on a maximum of 5. As you can see, both teams looking to use 4, if not 5, at this point. And it's very late in the game to do it. We're talking last 10 minutes.
And they are studying each other, what the other guys do.
Yeah, they're reacting to what each other are doing. But interestingly here, which is what you'd look at here, the 2 main, I would say, defensive threats for Kuwait have been taken off. So Kessie and Sergio Busquets, who would normally disrupt that midfield, both have now come off. So that tells you the story here.
It's again a chance for this game to restart. They did
Not long left.
all this strategy and stuff and changes and things for 2 minutes. Nothing. It lasted nothing.
But you never want to be in a spot where you go, I could have made changes and I could have affected the game.
Yeah.
But for a very, very small amount of time, you've still got 1 attack potentially, and you want to have that 1 attack.
But I mean, it was funny how much time did it take for everything.
All of those tweaks and all those little touches, and it's like for 2 minutes worth of gameplay, which again didn't amount to anything. But
so,
again, tight game. I would say a fair result on balance.
Is this the first match that we have a tie?
Yes,
I
actually,
think so.
yes, it is. On any of the legs, I think it's all been draws. So
I think so.
Yeah, I think the way that the game went and the balance of the game, yes, the Czech Republic had almost all of the game after the goal had been conceded. They came out of their shell and started to play a bit more. Kuwait had their chances though. So I think looking at both teams, I think that's a fair result for now. Let's now see what happens in game 2 when there's no errors, we've caused a mistake. Czech Republic will learn from that, and Kuwait will certainly need to learn from their mistakes too.
And everything will be decided in this second game between Kuwait and the Czech Republic. The first one ended in a tie. This was the first tie of today's long list of matches, which started with Ghana versus Suriname, won by Suriname. It continued with Iceland versus Iran, won by Iran.
Yep.
And then we had Slovakia-Moldova.
I think in terms of the game of the day, it's the next one though, and I'm not saying that just because you're sat next to me, but Argentina versus Senegal had everything.
Yeah, that was
it had
great
everything.
Match.
It was such a good match.
It was a great match.
But that's not to also be said about the other games that we've seen in terms of
also Korea-Pakistan
was great, despite the fact that it was more so the performance of Korea
exactly. It
that
was not balanced.
there. Again, UAE, it was just full of goals from the UAE. And again, of course, now we've got a very almost interesting stalemate now between Kuwait and the Czech Republic.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes people say the perfect match, it's 0-0, 0-0, because that means that they are both so experienced and so tactical. I don't like that idea very much, but I may concede that 1-1, it's because they both played well in this case.
I have used the analogy, or I've used the saying before, it's the best 0-0 I've ever watched in terms of some games because of that reason. It's that tactical mindset of you know, if you're all about goals in football, if you're all about, you know, brilliant passes, stunning strikes, all of those things, that's well and good. But there is a certain type of football fan out there that just loves a draw.
Yes.
They love a draw.
Yes.
And to be fair, that had everything in that game. Despite the fact it was only 1-1, that had everything. It had a defensive mistake. It had the Czech Republic continuing to try and batter the wall and eventually made their breakthrough. It had everything that it needed.
That's
Kuwait
true.
had their chances.
That's
so,
true.
You know, yes, it's not the goal fest, but it certainly had its interest. And,
No,
and certainly, I think that's what we were saying, is that it was just as interesting as watching Korea versus Pakistan, or through Argentina versus Senegal, as we can hear very sharp shouts behind us. There's clearly calls.
It's like Tekken 7, but live.
Yeah,
here,
yeah. But there's a lot of interest around all of these games, and it's not just the case of because of the players and because of that. It's more so the actual actions on the field.
And if you are enjoying these matches, if you're enjoying this tournament, you have to know that tomorrow we will have more. Yes, tomorrow here we will have Chad, we will have Trinidad and Tobago, we will have Bahrain, we have Tajikistan, we have Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan is what you have there. You've got
Spanish is very difficult to say. You know,
you've got Austria, you've got Mongolia, you've got Croatia, you've got Thailand, you've got Brunei, you've got Brazil, and of course the Netherlands as well. Which again, there's a lot of games on deck tomorrow.
Yes,
not to say that we have obviously going to overlook the 2 games that we've got left today, but saying what we've got on deck tomorrow, again, it's like you said, we've got all continents pretty much covered.
Yes. There is for every taste we have here. Of course, more than 100 countries represented in different delegations, in different games. We have also the Indonesia Esports Summit happening at the same time, so we can breathe esports here.
Yeah.
Everything. If you cross someone, if you're in Bali and you cross someone on the street, don't ask to play games because you're gonna lose. You have the best players in the world right now at this scene.
Yeah, if we're talking depth chart of players that are in, we say, the Far East or in Asia, they are breathing esports at the moment, and they have so many good players. Be it Indonesia, be it Thailand, be it Japan, be it Korea, as what we saw earlier on. They breathe it, and it's great to see that passion, especially again, as for myself, for being, you know, a mainland European, to come across to Bali and to come across to Indonesia and see it firsthand. Like, I always knew that it existed, but to see it live and to see the passion that's behind it, it's wonderful.
No, and yesterday we have the opening ceremony. It was really crowded. A lot of people clapping and dancing and taking pictures. And, you know, it was a great show. And we had a culture show. So this is an amazing event, and you are living it live with us. Please stand by there, subscribe to the channels, chat on the channels, say hello on social media, because this gets bigger and bigger and bigger because of you. Yeah. If you are not there, this will not happen. Absolutely. And again, it's you know, it's for the fans. We've seen him in the live chats that we've seen across Twitch and across YouTube today. We've seen how much energy is there for when nations are playing, and we know about fan bases and how passionate they can be. And, you know, again, we just see it across the board. So, you know, we thank you for the fact that you chose the time today to come and watch us. But right now, we're going to go back to Kuwait versus the Czech Republic. It is Barcelona v Barcelona.
But again, that kind of proves to be its own chess match, especially as it was in game one.
And this is the most important match because this will bring who wins this best of two bracket. It's 1-1 for the first time. Kuwait against Czech Republic.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now to see what do you do as a player if you're I don't know, you're normally asking me these types of questions, but as a player, if you had played your friend on your couch and you've played your first game, that's normally the best of 5 is what you'd probably do, or a best of 3. If you've drawn the first game, how do you combat the second one? Because I know how I would, but I'd like to know from a lay person almost, as what would you do?
Well, I think that I have on the first half, I want to put the record straight. I want to make all the goals I can on the first half. And on the second one, I will make some changes and I will put the bus.
Yep, that's exactly what I would do. It's honestly, you're halfway to being a pro player before you even realise.
No, I cannot. I made a promise.
It's what you have to, at this level, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to get in early, get your goal or get a couple of goals, give yourself a cushion, and then manage the game.
Yes.
And manage. It's not necessarily going and playing in the corner from 20 minutes in, or it's not a case of, oh well, we'll just play around the back for 5 minutes. What we mean is quality of possession. If you've got the ball in the opponent's half and all you're doing is just moving around the edge of their box, that's positive possession, and you're able to keep a hold of it and you're able to make it work. Whereas
it's easier to say than to do.
Oh, of course it is. Because the threat is you'd go, oh, I can see there's a pass on there and I'll take a shot. And instead, actually, that might not necessarily be the best option. See, left to right is the Czech Republic, now in the home kit of Barcelona.
Yes.
And Kuwait are in the champagne number from right to left. Here is Kese to Sergio Roberto. Kese receives it back again, but Sergio Busquets will remove that from the field of play. Is Marcos Alonso. Marcos Alonso just looking for a bit of a moment here to capitalise. Ferran Torres blocked away. Here's Pedri. Pedri to Kese. Kese onto Sergio Roberto. You can see the chess pieces are moving, and you can see the Czech Republic are on the attack. It's a stunning strike. It forced the save. Just nobody there to recover it and put it into the back of the net. And again, early warning signs.
We are seeing again a game where Czech Republic takes the lead and attacks, and Kuwait is waiting in the back.
Yep, certainly. They're looking to try and absorb a little bit of early pressure. Torres with the double touch that looked incredibly slick, but just didn't quite get the purchase on the strike. And Kese will lead it away. Here's Torres. It's given away to Frankie de Jong. Here's Kounde. Tries to lob one forward, but again, got to be careful with that ball. You really do, because again, you're going to invite pressure, you're going to invite danger at every turn. De Jong. Ball into the box. It's headed back kindly for Robert Lewandowski. And the ball back in again. It's Frank Kese getting forward there. I say with a very limited ability of surprise. Is Pedri. Ferran Torres.
And here comes Kuwait. On the counter-attack, he builds the team from the back to the front.
Yeah.
It's a good way to build a team. You know, if you're going to build a house, you have to start from the lower part to the bigger part, to the more high part.
Yeah, it's a solid foundation.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
correct.
But of course, the danger within eFootball is, of course, you can set your foundation on quicksand if you're not careful. So you've got to be careful here as Depay looks to try and get a way through and does get headed back to the goalkeeper.
So here we are. We didn't stop at all day. We started at 9 in the morning. It's 7:40 in the afternoon. Non-stop live action from Bali, Indonesia. The IESF tournament. It comes live in the voice of Mr. Wetza.
There's Frankie de Jong looking to try and probe and find a way through. But again, this is looking relatively stalemate, I hate to say, because it doesn't. It looks like
they're not on a rush.
Both defenses are quite, and I use the word stubborn. They're very just tough. And again, as we've said, how as Barcelona against a Barcelona, if it's an attack, almost an attack v defense drill, is what you can see here. How do they nullify? And you can see their runner there. You can see a runner in the middle of the box as well. There's now two at the back post. Ball into the box. Header on. Oh, big post off the save, and it's a goal.
So in these kind of matches, you have to break the lock.
Absolutely.
Once you break the lock, the rest is easy. But the difficult part